Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World. Today I have my April 2020 wrap up. I had to think about that then. I couldn't remember what month I was wrapping up. So as usual, this wrap up is all the books that haven't featured in other videos. So that might be individual wrap ups, that might be my history book reviews, etc, etc. These are just the remaining. I'll do my best to leave links for these books in the description bar below. Let's get straight into it. So starting off, the lovely Hannah from the channel Hannah Tay did a readathon at the beginning of lockdown, which was to have a week of reading your favourites. So I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reread one of my favourite children's authors, and that's Beatrix Potter. So I picked this book up. This is The Great British Treasury of Beatrix Potter with all her original illustrations. Now, when I was a child, I collected the individual books. I never had a big binder. And I saw this in a charity shop a couple of years ago, but I've never read it since. And it was just wonderful to read them all together rather than individually like how I did when I was young. I still love my favourites that I loved when I was a child. So my favourite when I was a child was A Tale of Two Bad Mice, because I loved dolls' houses. Anybody else Tale of Two Bad Mice? I of course loved Peter Rabbit. I also love Flopsy Bunnies, which isn't on here. My first pet that I had was a rabbit, and I called her Flopsy because Beatrix Potter. I also love Taylor of Gloucester. That was a favourite. But do you know what? As I get older, I love Miss Teawinkle. Isn't she fab? So yeah, it was lovely to reread some Beatrix Potter again because it had been a little while, and the illustrations are just beautiful. And do you know what? I completely forgot that in Jemima Puddle Duck, Kep is a border collie, isn't he? Well, I don't know if he's a border collie, but he is a collie, and I have a collie. So yeah, lovely. Really enjoyed reading that. 5 stars, obviously. Then I picked up, this is Jane Seymour, The Haunted Queen by Alison Weir. This is part of the 6 Tudor Queen series and book number 3, because we are wife number 3. I'm a bit slow on this, aren't I? I don't know why I'm slow on this, because I went to a release in Cheltenham Literature Festival that Alison Weir did for her first book in this series, Catherine of Aragon. I went to the signing, I was really enthused, and it just sat on my shelf. Don't know why, but I'm catching up now. So this one's Jane Seymour. We start with her as a child, and we have a fictionalised version of her life from when she's a child to her death. And do you know what? I really enjoyed it. I'm a bit funny, aren't I, about historical fiction, because historical fiction is something that you can easily get wrong or easily get right, and you can fictionalise these historical people to any length of degree, and I think Alison Weir actually did this really well. I mean, there are historical inaccuracies in this and liberties that you take when it comes to historical fiction, which, you know, they're just there. One that I actually liked was putting in that when Jane was younger, she wanted to be a nun. Now, I really like this because I think, well, I know a lot of people, they'd rather read historical fiction than read any non-fiction. And that's fine, fair enough, that's people's preferences, that's people's choices. That's okay. And I do think when it comes to the wives of Henry VIII, people often think the religious wives are Catherine of Aragon, devoutly Catholic, Catherine Parr, Protestant. It's now paving the way. Anne Boleyn is being seen as more pious and religious, which is good. But Jane Seymour, I find, is often missed in regards to her religious beliefs. So it's really good to see that put in there and show that she is a religious woman. I feel like Jane, not just in historical fiction, but in non-fiction as well, she's either portrayed as a doormat or someone who is braver. And do you know what? I think Alison got the right balance here. I don't think she is a doormat, because to step through to Henry's side as his wife after the execution of so many people and causing so much bloodshed takes a lot of guts. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I was a bit unsure about the ending, to be honest. I won't say it because I don't want to spoil it for you, but the way in which Alison Weir's been conducting research into Jane Seymour's death, and I was just a bit unsure about that bit. But yeah, I did really enjoy it. I wish there was more time of her with Henry when she is his wife, and less before that, but I know she was only queen for a very short time. His wife for a very short time, sorry. So it's very difficult to do that, but I did really enjoy it, and yeah, we'll definitely carry on with the series because I'm really enjoying it. And then lastly, I know it's only a short one, this one, isn't it? I reread my favourite comic, well, carried on rereading my favourite comic, because Giant Days Volume 12, do I talk about Giant Days a bit? I think I do. Giant Days Volume 12 came out end of April, and it's May now. I've already read it. It'll be in my May wrap-up. But I wanted to reread all the books prior to that one coming out. So I reread Volume 8, 9, 10 and 11 to put me up to date, ready for when Volume 12 came out. And I just love this series so much. It's so brilliant, and I know I waffle on about it all the time, but that's because it's so good. 3 girls, their time at university, British humour, what more could you ask for? And that's it. That's all the books that I have to share with you in this wrap-up, because I have been reading lots of stuff that's been fitting into other reviews, like my non-fiction or classic crime or individual book reviews, so that's it. But as I said, I'll do my best to leave links for all the books in the description bar below. Let me know what you've been reading, and I shall see you soon for the next video. Take care. Bye.